we're now going to move on to the next part. I just named this here an inner and outer. So I'm going to make another copy of this guy here. And this is the last part, as I mentioned before. And this is about spreading the wet attribute without having any further liquid. I'm going to change this in a way that it's just a single drop. So first of all, that's what I want to do. I'm going to transform this up, and I'm going to template this guy just to see where I'm at. And I want to drop this on the 24th frame, let's say. So let's go to top view here, and I want to adjust this right onto the head, let's say something like that, just a bit forward. And let's go to the front view, just about there. Side view, or maybe just a bit over there. That's good. All right, perfect. So on the 24th frame, it's going to drop. So got this here, got this, got that. All right, perfect. So I want this to activate only on the 24th frame. So I'm going to say at frame is equal to 24. And that is the only frame when it's going to get activated. So I'm guessing it's going to work. If not, I have an alternative method. We'll try that. But nothing else changes here. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is going to double check it actually works. And I'm going to get rid of this inner outer things. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of this part here for now. Right, that's good. And I can get rid of these as well, actually, because I don't need them. So let's run it and see what happens. So that is working, which is good. It's a bit too much, I guess. I want to make this sphere smaller because it's too big. Perfect. So that falls, and then you can see here that part, all of that is just going to continue to go. Maybe I should reduce it even smaller. Let's say 0.25. And let me actually increase the resolution here to 0.15. So that should be now. That looks pretty good. I think we're going to go with this for now, and we will see what we can do. I am going to let it run up to 96, let's say, and we'll take a screenshot, and we will look at the same frame after we've implemented the spread. You go to the camera. There it is. And now I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So there's the screenshot. So I'm just going to pull that aside. Fine. What we want is we already have this subsolver doing the transfer of the wet attribute here. So what we want to do now is we want to transfer that wet attribute to the points that do not have wet attribute, meaning when the wet attribute is 0, we want to transfer wet attribute which are 1 to those ones. Let me explain. Sorry, let me do it for you. So subsolver, another one. I'm going to go in, and we're going to bring in another attribute transfer. We're just going to connect both of them there. But the source group will be at wet equals 0, while the destination group will be wet equals 1. And now we want to just transfer the wet attribute. And I want to change the distance threshold to 0.1. We'll see how that goes. And there might be one important parameter that we need to change, but we will see now. This time, it actually did not work at all. So 96th frame from before looks like that. Wow. This one actually looks like it's holding on. So something's not right. Anyway, let me go in and see what is the deal here. So I want to change this max sample count to 10. That's an important parameter that we want to change. And let's try it again. Go back out and go straight to 96, 95. It's much faster when you go straight to the frame that you want. You can see it's approximately doing about a frame and a half every second. So it's 96th frame. There's no change. And I think the problem is here. This source group is actually 1. The destination group is 0. Now let me try that again, and I'll come back. I stopped it at 63 because something was not right, but there's the new sim. As soon as the liquid drops, everything just gets turned into wet, I guess. I still don't think that's right because it's not blue, so I'm not sure what is happening there. Let me double check that. So I'm transferring, so let me put this back to 1 and make this 0.01 and this to 0.01 as well. Let me try that again. Looks like it's spreading now. So I'm going to wait out until it's 96 and we will see what happens. So somewhere around here, and I'm going to pull this guy. This was 96 and this is the new 96. So you can see it is spreading and it is dropping. So that's good. And we're only changing the wet attribute, and that's why the color is not showing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the color as well here. So both of them gets transferred. And this is a bit too less, I think. So I'm going to change that, and I'm going to put this back to 10. And I think it's the max sample count that causes it to go crazy, but we'll see. So it's a fine adjustment of these three items here. So we want this to be maybe 1.5, and this to be 1, and this to be, I don't know, 4, something like that. Maybe it's a combination of those three, might work. But the spreading is happening. You can see that it is doing that, which is fantastic. Now, I'm just going to show you a couple of more tricks, and I think that's pretty much it for this one. That looks like it's working right now. So that's exactly what I'm after. It looks like it's doing its job, but there is some instability, as you can see here. You might want to watch out for that. But what I was going to say was that you can actually choose which part of the body gets this. So I'm going to create a group create here, and I'm going to just pick some, I'm going to say spread and points, and I'm just going to pick a bunch of points here. And let's say not the hands, and I'm just going to pick these guys. And just this part of the body gets it, nowhere else. Okay, I'm going to press enter. All right, good. Now, when I dive in, go to Soft Solver, what I want to do is I want to perform a split in here. And that split is going to pick up the spread, and that's the points. And that is the only part that I want to do this spread to, while the other ones, I don't. So, but I need to bring that back in. That's why I need a merge here. So let's see how that goes. So now I'm in 97th frame. Now you can see the arms are still there, at least part of it. And then just the center part of the body, which is the torso, has fallen apart. And compared to the previous image from 96, this is how it looks now, while this is how it originally was. So you can see that there's a significant difference between the two. And this will allow you to customize what you want, and you could choose to define some groups, which you can then use to spread. In reality, this will work if you were to use it just for the hands, for example, because you don't want the hands to hang on out there for a long time. So it will spread on the arms or hands, and then the rest of the body will just behave normally while the hands gets the spread. I can see that that hand is now almost, yep, that's it. It's fully gone now. So you can see here, but the body is holding on. I'm just going to switch it to the camera here. So basically it works. I mean, obviously the other hand, the other arm, this hasn't come through yet. So it's a bit far out. That's why it's not picking up. But that is what I wanted to show you. Let me just go to camera 2 and make sure that this works in the render as well. I'm sure it will. So we can go down here now, and I'm going to check. Actually, I got to change it to Geo8. I forgot about that. So I'm going to go ahead and make that change here. Geo8. This one was Geo8. So there you go. There's this little bit of liquid here, and the rest of it is just starting to fall apart. Well, at least the one that we've chosen. So that is all of it, really. Okay, so I named it spread. So as you know, all these files are already available on Gumroad and payhip.com. If you'd like to support me, please purchase the project files. I will include this tutorial file as well. I just forgot one last thing I want to show you. So that we've created a spread here and then a body here. I want to create another group here. So let's say I group create, and I want to create group 4. Let's say I'm going to choose points here, and I'm going to go to the front view, and I'm going to select this part, just the legs. So I'm going to call this pinned. So now what you can do is you can selectively do this. The same thing. You could actually say, and I at group underscore pinned not equal to 1. And this means that the legs will never stop to be animated. So it will continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go in here and just go back. Sorry about that. I'm going to just select for the spread. I'm going to select the entire body. So it doesn't matter. However, you'll see here, this part is not going to come into play. So let's see, that one is the spread, which means everything is intact. And let me run this now. So you can choose to have certain body parts that are not going to disintegrate, basically. Just like how we did for inner and outer, you can choose that as well. So there's so much flexibility here. So the spread is coming into play here, as you can see. It's starting to fall apart now. But the sim might be a little bit unstable, so you're going to have to watch out for that. As I said before, you might have to adjust those parameters. So you can see here, it is a bit unstable. But yeah. So let's see what happens to the legs now. Let's see if the legs will continue with the animation and will not disintegrate. I'm hoping so. Yep, there you go. So we can confirm that by choosing to select that one, pinned, and let's have a look. So delete non-selected. So if I now run this, you can see it's getting its wet attribute, but it's not disintegrating. Right, that is that. Okay, so as I mentioned before, please support me by purchasing the files on gumroad.com or payhip.com. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.